My sister-in-law changed the door code, and somehow no one in the family knew. Wow, what a wife. Lena, this family's counting on you from now on. Ha ha ha. I came home for the weekend, got locked outside, and saw my sister-in-law bragging about it on social media. Now everyone knows who the real lady of the house is. Some people live off my husband and still have no shame. Did nobody tell her the house is legally in my name? They'd installed a new keypad lock. I couldn't get in, and no one answered after I rang the bell forever. Then Auntie Jang from across the hall came back from her walk and asked what was wrong. Yue, they changed your lock last week. Your mom didn't give you the code? No one told me anything. I called my mom right away. The second she picked up, I could clearly hear the TV and my brother gaming in the living room. Yue, why are you calling out of nowhere? I looked down at the expensive gift boxes by my feet. Mom, I've been standing outside forever. What's the door code? Your sister-in-law said it. I don't know it either. Besides, everything's fine here. Why did you suddenly come back? You always do things on a whim. She kept complaining, but somehow never mentioned opening the door. All the warmth I'd felt on the way home vanished, and my temper shot up fast. I need an appointment just to enter my own home now? The second I said that, a sharp female voice came through the door. Open what door? It was Li Na, my brother's wife of less than 6 months. Yeah, I'm talking about you, outsider, living in my man's house and spending my man's money. Her voice was sharp and smug, like she was enjoying every second of it. Before I married in, maybe. But I'm here now and I call the shots. There's no place for you here. Go back where you came from. What are you mumbling about? A few new messages popped up in the family group chat. A married daughter belongs in her own home. Running back here every day. Have you no shame? Trying to lean on my husband? I'll teach you some boundaries. Lena, what exactly is your problem? This is my parents' home, not your private honeymoon suite. My parents' home? Please. This house belongs to my husband, Wang Qiang. You're the outsider here, living off your brother's hard-earned money. Pack your stuff and leave. I opened WeChat on the spot and found my brother, Wang Qiang. Wang Qiang, you're really going to let your wife talk to me like this? My message disappeared into the void. Yue, can't you just say less? You know what your sister-in-law is like. Would it hurt to let her have this one? Family should keep the peace. I looked down. Lena was still ranting inside, clearly taking shots at me. The old building had paper-thin walls, so neighbors started peeking out to watch the drama, and saw all the expensive gifts at my feet. You've got to admit, Yue is a good daughter. Her parents must be thrilled. Work had been brutal lately. I'd planned a little weekend trip nearby just to unwind. Then I remembered Dad broke his phone last month and Mom wanted a neck massager, so I bought everything and came home, only to get locked out. Even that front door was something I bought with 6 months of internship pay. Dad once said the old building felt unsafe, so I spent a sweltering summer day shopping around for the best one. Wang Qiang didn't pay a cent or lift a finger, so how did I become the freeloader in my sister-in-law's story? Meanwhile, Lena was flooding the family chat with braggy little videos. Ha 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 ha! Hi, are you the locksmith? The locksmith got there fast and had barely pulled out his tools. I snapped a photo and dropped it in the family chat. 1 second later, something crashed inside, followed by Lena yelling. Then Mom sent me a frantic voice message. Yue, what are you stirring up now? You keep turning this house upside down. Can't we have one peaceful day? That's rich. I can't even get through the door. How am I ruining the peace? You all love changing locks, right? Fine, I'll change one too. Let's keep the family tradition going. Sir, bring out the drill. Lena glared at me, furious. Mom's face went bright red. We criticize you once and you throw a fit? Tell him to leave. This is embarrassing. She was about to keep going when she noticed the gift boxes all over the floor. Her face lit up. Then she saw the neighbors watching and immediately put the scowl back on. You brat. Anyone watching would think this family doesn't want you here. Doesn't it? I looked around at everyone in the living room. Dad, embarrassed, huffed and turned his head away. Quick, team fight. Everyone jump in. Your sister-in-law was just joking. Nothing happened, so let's drop it. Mom started carrying all the gift boxes inside. When Wang Qiang finished his game, he spotted the new phone and massager on the table. Wangya, that was fast. I was literally about to buy those for Mom and Dad. I had them ready to order, and you beat me to it. See? She's always thinking 3 moves ahead. Mom saw I was still stone-faced and gave me an annoyed look. She was complimenting you. Lena just speaks her mind. Don't take it personally. I'd barely said a word since walking in, and somehow I was already labeled petty and manipulative. Why shouldn't we say it? She's been showing off in front of people since she was little. She hasn't even worked that long, and look at all this expensive stuff. Of course everyone will call her the perfect daughter. Lena immediately rolled her eyes. Exactly. Like she's trying to make our Qiang look thoughtless. I was shaking with anger, yet somehow I almost laughed. Suddenly I realized this always happened. Wang Qiang was always talking about startups and being his own boss. In reality, he mostly went to bars, played games, and ate and drank with his buddies. I'd never seen him send money home. Mom and Dad were the ones sending him money every month. They'd say, "You work so hard and too much screen time is bad for you," then cook him one nourishing soup after another. Meanwhile, I worked in a cubicle until midnight, wrecked my eyesight, nearly gave myself stomach problems, and wouldn't even buy decent glasses. Yet I kept buying things for home. So having money makes you better than everyone? Then there were all those Lunar New Year dinners where my parents mocked me in front of the whole family. I walked toward my room. I'd expected something bad, but seeing my pink princess bed buried under junk and old delivery boxes literally going moldy still made my chest tighten with anger. Without a word, I started throwing everything onto the floor. Mom rushed in wearing the massager, looking stunned. "Yue, what are you doing? Oh, does the princess need everyone to comfort her now? Still playing spoiled royalty? Does she think the whole house belongs to her?" I froze. Everyone else's expression changed. Lina didn't notice the flash of panic in Wang Qiang's and Dad's eyes. Mom quickly tried to smooth things over. "Your sister-in-law can be childish. Don't mind her. Haven't you been craving home cooking? Come on, you and I can make a big family dinner." I calmly stepped away from her. I'd been so hurt that I'd almost forgotten one important thing. Grandpa left this house to me. Years ago, my parents took my brother out of town to start a business and lost everything. They came back crying to Grandpa until he finally helped cover their debts. Grandpa didn't trust them with cash. He sold the little store he'd run for decades, bought this place in town, and put the property contract in my name alone. I'd assumed Lina already knew. Now it looked like Wang Qiang had misled her about the marriage from day one. I searched everywhere but couldn't find the property papers. I spun toward Mom. "Where's the contract?" She wouldn't meet my eyes. Guilt was written all over her face. "Your dad put it away. Your brother and his wife have it hard. We're family, so let it go. You came all this way just to fight over a little paperwork? Everyone has forgiven you. Do you really need to tear this family apart?" She gave me a warning look and went back to the living room. Then it clicked. While I was away, they'd taken the property documents and hidden them. No wonder Lina could change the lock. Mom and Dad had approved it. One played bad cop, one played good cop, and the whole show was aimed at me. I thought it through. Even if I couldn't take the papers today, I wasn't leaving empty-handed. I packed some clothes, grabbed my suitcase, and headed for the door. "If you're leaving, then leave. Nobody's stopping you." Dad coughed twice, signaling her to stop. Then he slipped right back into his usual stern father routine. "Since you're home, make yourself useful and help your mother more. I can't figure out this phone. Come take a look." He thought he was giving me an easy way back in. I played along, took the phone, then removed Mom's massager. With everyone staring in shock, I walked out and started knocking on the neighbors' doors. "Auntie Zhao, this is a German brand. I bought it for Mom, but my brother says he wants a chance to show how thoughtful he is too. So please take it. I hope you'll enjoy it." "Sir, I had a friend help me grab this phone while it was in high demand. It has the newest system and it's from a major brand. You're good to go. And these premium snacks? I picked them carefully. No unnecessary additives and a better choice if you're watching your blood sugar." I handed the gifts out one by one. The neighbors were surprised and delighted, thanking me over and over and praising me non-stop. Standing in the middle of them, I made sure to smile at my parents, whose faces had gone dark. "No matter what I've done all these years, you've always said I'm less thoughtful than my brother. You even helped my sister-in-law lock me out." So I reflected on it. From now on, I'll leave all the chances to show filial devotion to him. I'll learn from his example and stop trying so hard. I grabbed my suitcase and walked away without looking back. "Wang Yue, stop right there. I dare you to walk out that door." I didn't turn around. I practically floated out of the building, went back to my rental in the city that night, and gave myself 2 quiet days. I watched shows, ate hot pot, and realized the empty notifications on my phone didn't hurt nearly as much as I'd expected. Maybe learning that parents don't automatically love every child the same is one of those hard truths many people face growing up. Then I remembered something. Ever since I graduated, Mom and Dad had been calling me every few days. "Yue, the water and electricity bills went up again this month. Gas is expensive too. Your dad and I barely even buy meat anymore." I felt sorry for them, so I took over the gas, heating, water, and electricity bills. It added up to a lot every month. Seeing them smile on video made me happy too. Looking back, trying to buy love with money was pretty sad. I found the property management account for my hometown apartment and muted every payment reminder. Then I buried myself in work for a week. A few days later, Mom called, and the irritation in her voice was impossible to hide. "Wei, the power suddenly went out. Did you forget to pay the bill? Your dad gets up a lot at night. It's dangerous in the dark. Pay it now." "Mom, that's my brother and sister-in-law's home. I'm just the outsider, remember? How could I interfere? Let the lady of the house pay it." Mom went silent for a beat, then switched straight into guilt trip mode. "What kind of thing is that to say? We're family. Why split hairs over yours and mine? You're really fighting your brother over a little utility bill? What if your father or I fall in the dark?" Then the woman calling the shots, Lena, can take care of her in-laws. I hung up. By then, I'd finally figured them out. My parents worshipped their son. One would get stern, the other would guilt-trip me. Before Lena married in, I was the family's fixer. I paid when there was a crisis, stepped in when things got messy, and they hid behind me until the storm passed, then lectured me afterward. You shouldn't be so extreme. Be kind to people. Now they had Lena, the self-appointed queen of a 3-bedroom apartment, to call the shots. They thought they didn't need me anymore, but they still wanted my monthly money. Sooner or later, they'd find some way to drag me back and clean up the mess. I just didn't expect what happened next. A few mornings later, my brother Wang Cheng showed up at my office looking like he'd rushed there from miles away. You ungrateful daughter. You got your own father hurt. Get home right now. My stomach dropped. Guilt and panic hit me all at once. My supervisor looked annoyed but didn't say anything. Go, I'll approve the leave. I booked the fastest ride back home. In the hospital, Dad had a cast on his leg and looked miserable. Mom's eyes were swollen from crying. Wei Yue, you're finally here. The doctor says your dad needs proper treatment, and rehab afterward is going to cost a lot. She looked so overwhelmed that I started feeling awful too. Wang Qiang chimed in from the side. Then pay up! I was about to answer, then stopped. My head cleared, and I decided to be careful. Mom, give me a minute. I need to use the restroom. When I came out, I took a detour to the nurse's station. Hi, could you tell me what's actually wrong with the patient in bed 462? He's been groaning nonstop and people nearby can't rest. Sure, let me check. He has a mild ankle sprain. He should be able to go home this afternoon. Would you like me to talk to the family now? I waved it off and kept asking questions. But he's wearing a cast. The family strongly insisted on it. My heart went cold. I went back toward the room and heard Dad grumbling from inside. Once she hands over the money, make up an excuse and send her away. I don't want to stay here a minute longer, Wang Qiang answered in his usual careless tone. Mom, seriously? I told you starting a business takes a lot of money. Why ask her for such a small amount? She's not stupid. We ask for this much first, then come up with other reasons later and get the rest little by little. I smiled, not even sure what I was feeling anymore. I quietly left the hospital without telling anyone. Halfway back, Mom called again. Yue, where did you go? Your dad is still waiting for you to handle the paperwork and pay the bill. It's just a sprain. He's going home this afternoon. If you want to fund my brother's startup, you two can always work another couple of years. There was a brief silence. Then Mom's voice shot up an octave. What nonsense are you talking about? Who's been filling your head with this? She tried to explain, but I cut her off. Do you want me to go back, find his doctor, and confirm everything face to face? Mom went quiet for a moment, then suddenly started sobbing. Yue, how did you become like this? Fine. Your dad exaggerated his injury, but you pushed us into it. If you hadn't stopped paying the utilities, would we have needed to do this? Do you really want to watch this family fall apart? Can't you understand how hard this is for us? Same old routine. I stared coldly at the scenery racing past the window. Weren't you the ones who let Lena lock me out and hide my property papers? If you don't want me home, fine. I won't come back. The 4 of you can live happily ever after. I hung up first. Less than 10 peaceful minutes later, Dad called. I answered, and sure enough, his furious yelling came through the phone. You heartless child. I raised you all these years for nothing. Think you're too grown to listen now. Send the money, or you're no daughter of mine. I could practically picture his face turning red with rage. Fine. If that's what he wanted, I'd answer every demand, just not the way he expected. First, raising your children is a parent's legal responsibility, so you don't get to call it raising me for nothing. Second, lying about an injury to get money is wrong. He had no answer, so all he could do was keep cursing. You ungrateful daughter! You'll regret this! Stay away forever! I calmly hung up and blocked every family number. Don't worry about me. Finally, the world went quiet. I made time to replace my property documents. Miss Wang, we've reviewed your situation and registered the request. Less than an hour later, I had a brand new certificate in my hands. I happily returned to work, but something felt off. Coworkers kept sneaking looks at me from across the room. So that's what Yue is really like. You'd never know from seeing her at work. While I was wondering what was going on, my supervisor appeared. Wang Yue, come with me. I understood the moment I entered. Lena and Wang Qiang sat on the couch like guests, with several display banners beside them, accusing me of calling a locksmith, cutting off the power so Dad got hurt, and making Mom cry. All to paint me as a heartless daughter who stole my parents' home and bullied my brother and sister-in-law. I'd assumed Mom, Dad, and Wang Qiang would just complain about me together and never do much more. I forgot one thing. Lena was part of this family now. Lena lifted her chin with a cold smile. You actually have the nerve to show up at work? Then she shouted toward the hallway. Everyone, come look at this ungrateful daughter. She took over her parents' house, cut off the utilities, sent her own father to the hospital, and refused to pay his medical bills. Who treats family like that? Wang Xiu immediately jumped in. You tell me, is someone who won't even stand by her own parents the kind of person you want working here? Then he pulled out his phone and pointed the camera at me. You said you were going to get someone, right? Go ahead. I want everyone to see how your company handles this. My supervisor's expression darkened. This is a family dispute. Our company isn't in a position to get involved. Why not? Someone with morals like hers is a problem anywhere. We came here for an answer, and we want management to fire her. Co-workers whispered around the office, watching like it was a live show. In the past, I'd have wanted to disappear from embarrassment. Now their performance was almost funny. I finally got it. They were determined to cost me either my money or my job. They just never asked if I'd play along. I raised my voice over her, shouting, "Are you done? Oh? What, you're going to argue now? We have proof." Slowly, I pulled the freshly reissued property document from my bag and spread it across the desk. Proof? Funny thing, I've got some too. I opened the document and turned the page showing the legal owner, Wang Yue, toward everyone watching. I really don't know what else I'm supposed to do. Without my knowledge, my brother and sister-in-law took over my house, changed the locks so I couldn't enter, demanded I keep paying the utilities, and even teamed up with Dad to exaggerate an injury and get money from me. Even so, I stayed respectful. My conscience is clear. But apparently they hated me enough to come after my job too. I can't go home and now they want me unemployed. I can't take this anymore. My manager and co-workers panicked, grabbed me, and tried to calm me down. Suddenly, all the chatter turned in my favor. "Oh my God, no wonder Yue works late every single day, that's awful. They exaggerated an illness to squeeze money out of their own daughter? What kind of family does that? And now they brought the drama to her workplace. They won't give her a break." Every comment landed like a slap across Lina and Wang Qiang's faces. Lina stared at the property contract, her face flashing red, then pale. Her hands shook with rage. "What are you talking about? The owner! That document is fake! Forging documents is illegal." "Then report me if you don't believe it." "Nana, forget it, come on. Let's just go home." Lina still wouldn't let it go and tried to get a closer look, but a male co-worker stopped her. One older co-worker leaned over and whispered, "If I were you, I'd take them to court for trespassing. I've never seen people take over someone else's home and still act this entitled." Under everyone's disgusted stares and criticism, Lina and Wang Qiang fled in humiliation. When Lina and Wang Qiang got home, she stormed in and slammed her bag onto the floor. "Wang Qiang, your whole family teamed up to lie to me!" she screamed while throwing things around the room. "You promised me a car and a house just to get me to marry into this family. And there's still no car anywhere in sight. The property contract even has that outsider's name on it. Your Wang family has absolutely no shame." My mom heard the noise and came out of her room. "What's going on? Nana, calm down." Lina dropped onto the couch and started wailing dramatically. "Marrying into this family was the worst mistake of my life. I've worked myself to the bone and never had one easy day. And now I have to put up with this while everyone laughs at me? I can't live like this anymore. Divorce." The second she said divorce, my parents and my brother panicked. "Don't do that. This is all Wang Yue's fault. She's the one stirring up trouble." My dad paced around in a panic. "That ungrateful daughter has completely lost it." "What a disaster. Yue was never like this before. The city must have changed her." "Enough. Stop yelling. What good is complaining now?" "Either way, I'm done with this marriage." My brother swore he'd fix everything. After days of pleading, Lina finally softened a little. But she had one condition: get the house back and put it in both her and Wang Qiang's names. "Otherwise, I'm going straight back to my parents." Okay, whatever you want." Wang Qiang hesitated. She's unbelievably stubborn. She won't budge at all. Everyone cares about their reputation, and no one can ignore pressure from parents and relatives forever. "Call her, say you miss her, and invite her home for dinner. Then we'll talk face to face." That afternoon, my mom called me from a new number. Yue, your dad and I were wrong before. We hurt you. This week I'll make your favorite sweet and sour ribs. Let's sit down as a family and talk it out. Nothing is impossible to work through." I was having hot pot with friends. "I'll pass on dinner. If you have something to say, just say it." When the soft approach failed, my dad grabbed the phone and switched to threats. "Wang Yue, don't push your luck. Your mother and I are trying to talk nicely, so drop the attitude. You will come home Sunday or I'll act like I never had a daughter. Didn't we already agree not to contact each other? Who are you to call me and start yelling?" Then I hung up and blocked the number. Next came Wang Qiang's big performance. For once, he used his brain and tagged me in the extended family group chat. Yue, your sister-in-law is insisting on a divorce. I'm out of options. For the sake of all our years as brother and sister, could you let me use the house? Once my business takes off, I'll pay you back double. Think of the house as your investment. When I make money, I'll even give you a share of the profits." He sounded so sincere that relatives who had no idea what was happening started popping up in the chat. Everyone wanted to know what happened. Then my mom sent a long voice message in a weak, pitiful tone. "I'm begging you, Yue. If you don't give the house to Qiang, Nana is going to divorce him. Can you really stand by and watch your brother lose his marriage and this family fall apart? I'll apologize, okay? Please, have some mercy on your old mother." The message made my stomach turn, but I stayed silent. The spectators in the group chat couldn't hold back anymore. My oldest uncle jumped in first, sounding just like my dad. He came in with full respect your elders energy. Yue, you're being ridiculous. You've upset your own father so badly he's feeling sick. The whole family says you're ungrateful. Wake up and stop acting like a terrible daughter. Transfer the house to Chang now or don't bother coming to future family weddings or funerals. We don't recognize a junior like you. I smirked and tapped my cousin's profile picture. Someone come collect your elder. I was actually planning to give your kid a nice cash gift this year. But if Uncle doesn't consider me family, I guess I don't need to send it. My cousin responded almost immediately. Dad, if you're that bored, go wash the baby's changing pads. Stop living on your phone. My uncle got so mad he disappeared from the chat. Then came my great aunt, cousin's mother, great uncle, and more. Calls and messages flooded in. Girls shouldn't be so forceful. Family comes first. Your parents raised you for nothing, and so on. They judged me from the moral high ground while ignoring everything I'd done and endured for years. I'd had enough, so I fired back at them one by one. Then I opened my laptop, made a spreadsheet overnight listing every expense I'd paid for this family, and dropped it straight into the group chat. Since everyone is so invested in my family's business, let me clear this up once and for all. The house was left to me by my grandfather. My parents didn't pay a cent for it. Yet they let my sister-in-law change the locks and keep me out of my own home. Since graduating, I've spent countless amounts on this family. What exactly has my brother contributed? My parents even exaggerated an illness to get money from me, then called me an outsider. If you still think I'm the problem after all that, then I don't need relatives like you. The group chat went dead silent. A long time passed. A few relatives finally sent some vague peacekeeping messages, but nobody dared blame me anymore. That little family pressure campaign fizzled out, when even the relatives couldn't sway me. My mom contacted me in a panic. Yue, do you really have to drive me to my grave? Can't you just give the house back to your brother? I'm begging you. No, I've decided to sell the house. My parents completely panicked. This time, nobody could change my mind. My heart was set. I reminded my parents to move out soon with their precious son. He posted defiantly, I'm not moving no matter what. He was determined to become a permanent holdout. But this time, I wasn't worried at all, because the people buying the house were a little unusual. The agent and I screened carefully until we found buyers who definitely weren't pushovers. Less than 2 weeks later, all the paperwork was done. The couple had very short tempers. Where they used to live, everyone knew better than to mess with them. I gave them a friendly warning in the group chat. The house has a new owner now. Please move out as soon as possible. They answered with a wave of insults, so I simply sent the new owner everyone's phone numbers. My dad got the first call. A man's rough voice came through the phone. Hey, Wang. Your daughter sold me the house. Be smart and clear all your stuff out before Monday. Don't make this harder on yourself. The sudden roar made my dad's heart jump, but he still tried to pull rank like an elder. Who are you? This house belongs to our Wang family. There must be some misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Save it. It's all in writing. I paid and the deal is done. My family is moving in. If things get unpleasant, don't say I didn't warn you. He hung up hard, leaving only the dial tone. My dad stood there gripping the phone, pale and rattled. After hearing what happened, even my mom looked scared. Who does he think he's scaring? We live under the law. Let him try something. I don't believe he'd actually touch us. I'm not moving. Let's see what they can do about it. Monday morning. Bang, bang, bang. That wasn't knocking. Someone was pounding the door hard enough to echo through the hallway. The neighbor across the hall cracked their door open, then immediately shut it again. My parents looked through the peephole and sucked in a breath. A whole family stood outside. The man in front was tall and solidly built. Behind him, a woman held a lively little boy around 4 or 5 years old. The man hammered on the metal door. Why haven't you moved out yet? Lena flinched at the scene, but she still refused to back down and shouted through the door. This is trespassing. I called the police. The police? I paid for this house. When they get here, we'll see who's actually in trouble. Come on, buddy. Mom and Dad are taking you to see our new home. The man stepped up and knocked hard right beside the peephole. My parents yelped from behind the door. They frantically called me, but I didn't answer. Before long, the new owners had someone open the door. The family of 3 walked into the living room, and the tension shot through the roof. Yep, these were the new owners I'd picked for my family. The whole family had short fuses, and the homeowner himself was especially impatient. Near the entryway stood a glass cabinet filled with old photos and keepsakes. He rushed past, bumped into it, and sent the cabinet crashing down. Frames and decorations clattered across the floor in a shower of broken glass. My mom screamed in horror and instinctively lunged toward the mess. My things! Don't touch me. Anyone keeps hassling me. We're going to have a problem. Everybody move, now! With her husband backing her up, his wife marched inside and casually dropped her bag. Pack up everything you can and get it out. We need room for our stuff. Wang Qiang looked like his heart was bleeding and stepped forward to stop her. Instead of backing off, the woman clutched her stomach and immediately crouched down. What are you doing? Trying to bully my wife? Lay one finger on her and you'll have me to deal with. Faced with this impossible couple and their unruly kid, all my parents' little schemes instantly stopped working. Even Lena's usual bossy authority meant nothing anymore. My mom was the first to crack. We'll move right now. Tears streamed down her face. She stopped worrying about the broken things and rushed into the bedroom, stuffing clothes and bedding into suitcases. Wang Qiang didn't dare say a word. He quietly packed his belongings. Lena was shaking with anger at the wrecked apartment, but every time the new owner spoke, all her bravado vanished. In the end, she could only bite her lip, grab the luggage, and slink out without saying a thing. In less than 2 hours, the place was cleared out. My parents, Lena and Wang Qiang, dragged bags and suitcases out of the building, looking completely defeated. Outside the complex, all 4 of them hauled their heavy luggage down the scorching street. Lena couldn't take the humiliation. She stopped in the middle of the street, pointed at Wang Qiang, and exploded. "I thought marrying you meant I'd live comfortably. Now we don't even have a place to stay." My parents stood off to the side, painfully embarrassed. My mom said, "Lena, please don't panic. Let's find somewhere to stay first. We'll figure out the rest later." Lena wasn't buying it. She dumped all her anger on the elderly couple. "You couldn't even hold on to one house, and now I have to suffer because of you." Wang Qiang snapped, "Are you done? It's broad daylight. Do you want everyone watching us make a scene?" They emptied every pocket and barely scraped together enough money for a cheap motel. Lena's face grew darker by the minute while my parents sat on the shabby beds. They were filled with uncertainty about the future and deep regret. Lena finally dropped the mask she'd always worn. Once she calmed down and did the math, she realized Wang Qiang didn't own a home. He didn't even have a real job, and he'd already burned through his parents' retirement savings. The family had nothing left. It was an empty shell. Without hesitation, Lena packed her clothes and bags into a suitcase. "Honey, please don't leave right now. I'm begging you. I am not spending my life with a lazy man who refuses to work. All this starting a business stuff is just your excuse to avoid getting a job." My mom rushed over when she saw what was happening. "This is when our family needs to stick together and get through this." Lena shoved my mom away in disgust, grabbed her suitcase, and walked out of the motel without looking back. Watching her leave for good, Wang Qiang collapsed onto the floor and covered his face with both hands. Lena's departure was the final blow that broke the family. My dad got so upset he fell ill. The huge medical bills crushed a family that was already barely getting by. My mom spent every day crying. Wang Qiang called old friends to borrow money, but one after another, they hung up on him. The man who once thought he was untouchable finally learned how quickly people can turn cold. Seeing his weak father in a hospital bed and his mother's hair gone gray from worry hit Wang Qiang hard. For the first time, he saw how useless he'd been. All his old bragging suddenly sounded ridiculous. Without Yueyu around to carry everyone, even basic survival became a problem for them. Sitting in the hospital hallway, my mom remembered everything Yueyu used to quietly do for the family. Whenever something went wrong, Yueyu always stepped up and handled everything perfectly. Why did I favor a son who never tried and push away the daughter who cared about us most? To cover my dad's medical bills and keep the family afloat, Wang Qiang finally swallowed his pride. He got a job delivering food, riding an e-bike all over the city every day. So this is how hard it is to earn money. I really had no idea how good I had it before. When customers blamed him for things, he had to bow his head. "I'm really sorry. I was late. Please don't be upset." Every night he dragged himself back to the tiny rental apartment too exhausted to speak. Looking at his sun-darkened skin and calloused hands, he slowly began to understand what Yue had endured. She used to work late every night and save every penny, even putting off buying herself a decent pair of glasses. Meanwhile, he'd treated her sacrifices like they were owed to him and even mocked her along with Li Na. Reality hit Wang Qiang like a slap and finally woke up the grown man who had never really grown up. He swore he'd earn money with his own hands and take full responsibility for supporting his aging parents. While they struggled through that painful change, my own life opened up into more freedom and possibility than ever before. Once I escaped my family's endless demands and emotional drain, I poured all my energy into work. My performance took off and I was promoted to department manager with a generous bonus. I used the money from selling the house as a down payment on a small, secure apartment downtown in a beautiful neighborhood. I ran my hand along the balcony railing and whispered, "I finally have a home that's truly mine." I made the place warm and cozy, filling the balcony with all my favorite little green succulents. Every morning I'd open the curtains and let sunlight flood the room. For the first time, I felt truly safe and content. After work, I'd hit the gym or shop for fresh ingredients and cook myself something good. I no longer had to read anyone's mood or sacrifice myself to satisfy someone else's greed. Yue, you've changed so much lately. You look way more confident. I finally understood that one of life's biggest lessons is learning to love yourself and set healthy boundaries with family. After my dad left the hospital, his health was never the same. He needed long-term medication and money was still tight. My mom looked at the medicine bottles on the table and sighed. She told Wang Qiang, "Expenses keep going up. You can't carry this alone. I'll find some prep work at the market and help however I can." She worked from dawn to dark, her hands red from soaking in cold water, but she never complained. Hardship wore down their old arrogance and prejudice and finally taught them to reflect on themselves. The family squeezed into a cheap rental and ate simple meals. They had little, but life finally felt honest and steady. Every day after finishing his delivery shift, Wang Qiang came home. "Dad, take it easy. Let me massage your legs." Seeing their son finally act like a responsible adult brought tears of relief to my parents' eyes. Late at night, they'd quietly check my social posts to see how I was doing. We were too biased before. We hurt our daughter deeply. Yeah, As long as she's doing well, that's enough. We owe her that much. One late autumn weekend, I drove to a nursing home outside the city to volunteer and hand out winter supplies. I dusted off my hands and smiled. It really feels good to help these seniors. After the event, I unexpectedly spotted an exhausted Wang Qiang outside a small steamed bun shop. He sat on his e-bike in a worn delivery uniform, wolfing down 2 of the cheapest vegetable buns. The moment he saw me, he froze. His expression turned painfully awkward. He instinctively hid his hands behind his back, as if he didn't want me to see how rough things had gotten. For a moment, the air seemed to freeze. We stood a few yards apart, silently looking at each other. The old hostility was gone. Time seemed to have softened the sharp conflicts and deep family resentment between us. He rubbed his hands nervously and quietly said, "Sis." It's been a long time. That simple word came years too late and carried so much regret that even my heart stirred a little. I walked over and handed him a bottle of water. "How have you been?" Wang Qiao took it, his eyes instantly turning red. Choking up, he told me everything that had happened at home. "A lot has changed. Lena and I are divorced now. Dad's health is bad, Mom works odd jobs, and I spend every day delivering food as hard as I can. It's exhausting, but honestly, I feel more grounded now." Looking at the brother who had finally grown up, I felt something complicated I couldn't quite put into words. Everything before was my fault. I was a complete jerk. Don't worry about us anymore. Live your own life. From now on, I'll earn the money and take care of Mom and Dad. I listened quietly. I didn't mock him or kick him while he was down. I just gave a small nod. Seeing him finally take responsibility as a son made some of my old hurt feel easier to let go. After saying goodbye, I drove back to my cozy apartment and made myself a hot cup of floral tea. I sat on the couch watching the sunset outside and felt a kind of peace I'd never known before. A few months earlier, my mom had reached me through a friend and sent a long apology text. "Yue, we favored our son over our daughter. We finally understand how terribly wrong we were. We're not asking for forgiveness or money. We only hope you take good care of yourself. I can support myself now. Please don't carry any guilt or pressure. I hope we can each live well in our own way." I simply replied, "I wish you well." And that was the end of the conversation. Now, seeing Wang Qiang's change with my own eyes, I knew they really were trying to rebuild their lives. At last, the family conflict ended with everyone returning to the life they were actually responsible for. I finally put down the weight of the past and stepped toward my future feeling lighter than ever. As my career kept rising, I also met a wonderful man and found a healthy kind of love. He worked in my industry. We met at a professional event, and he was humble, gentle, and great at what he did. Most importantly, he had healthy views about family and respected women's independence and careers. After learning about my family history, he gently took my hand. He said softly, "What happened before wasn't your fault. You've already done more than enough. I'm here now, and I'll stand by you. You just need to be yourself." We had so much to talk about, and on weekends we'd go see art exhibits together. For the first time, in a relationship built on equality and mutual love, I understood what real happiness felt like. I didn't have to please anyone anymore. I could just be fully myself and enjoy being loved. The day he proposed, we were in a cozy restaurant filled with flowers. It was simple, but incredibly romantic. He got down on one knee, holding up the ring with a completely serious look in his eyes.
"I want to spend my life with you. I'll always respect you and cherish you. Will you marry me?"
I didn't tell my family about the wedding. I felt the distance we had now was healthier for everyone. We had a small lawn wedding. Surrounded by sincere blessings from friends and loved ones, we exchanged vows and held each other tight. Later, I heard the Wang family had settled into a steadier life. Wang Qiang worked hard and became a delivery station supervisor, and they'd paid off more than half their debt. My parents were still aging, but they looked much better, and they never interfered with my life again. Maybe they finally understood that sometimes the kindest thing is to leave someone in peace. We all paid for the choices we'd made, and through life's hard lessons, we all learned to grow and be grateful. I had fully made peace with the damage for my family. Now I had a stronger sense of self and a much wider world ahead of me. Whatever came next, I would keep moving forward with kindness, confidence, and courage. 2 weeks after the wedding, an anonymous package unexpectedly arrived for me at the security desk downstairs from my office. Inside the box were 2 silver couples tumblers and a short handwritten note. There were only a few lines. The handwriting was shaky, but I recognized my dad's writing immediately. "Congratulations on your wedding. Your brother bought this with his first month's pay as a station supervisor." My dad had heard about my marriage from a neighbor. He didn't dare show up, so this was his way of sending a parent's blessing. Looking at the tumblers, my eyes grew warm. In that moment, the last of our old family resentment finally faded away. I washed the tumblers and placed them in the cabinet as a special reminder of everything I'd lived through. Our little home would be filled with warmth and love from then on. I leaned against him, feeling safe, and looked forward to everything still waiting for us. Real family love isn't endless sacrifice. It's helping each other become independent and take responsibility. I was no longer the timid girl who let family guilt control her and kept hurting herself just to keep everyone happy. Through hard work and the courage to stand up for myself, I finally built a life of my own in this busy city. I loved my challenging career, and I treasured the caring partner beside me even more. Life still had rough patches, but now I had enough confidence and wisdom to face them calmly. Looking back on all that family chaos, I felt no hatred anymore, only the calm that comes from finally seeing things clearly. Every woman should know this. Financial and emotional independence are the foundation of standing on your own. Don't be afraid to reject unreasonable demands, and don't be afraid to leave relationships that constantly drain you. Kindness needs boundaries. Save your heart for people who know how to appreciate it and are truly worth keeping close. Keep moving toward the light. Warmth will break through the clouds and lead us toward a brighter future.